Module 2, problem number 3. Suppose the lengths of human pregnancies are normally distributed with mean equal to 266 days and sigma equal to 16 days. Complete parts A through B below. I just want to point out really quick in the lesson and a couple of the documents you'll see that this figure right here written as mu, it's mu, and this will be sigma, and it'll be written out as sigma. The reason for that is when you type in these characters into Word or Brightspace, sometimes they don't copy over really well, and it can be oftentimes more confusing if I were to actually do the Greek letters. So I usually type them out that way just to make it easier to follow throughout the whole course. So if you ever see a symbol or something you don't recognize in the lesson or the feedback or anything of that sort, let me know and I will make sure to clarify. Okay, so now that we've clarified that point, let's go on to part A. The figure to the right represents the normal curve with mu equal to 266 days and sigma equal to 16 days. The area to the right of x equals 300 is 0.0168. Provide two interpretations of this area. So this problem's fairly simple. You don't have to do any work. You just have to interpret what that means. So let's look at our graph. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger just to talk about it real quick. So this is our normal curve. Remember, this is not standard normal. Standard normal is centered at 0. This one is centered at 266. That's our x. Here, we're looking at this number 300 in this shaded area over here. That means that the area under the curve to the right of 300 is equal to, what did they say, 0.0168, or not very likely. You see that because it's only like a 1.68% chance of happening. That means it's not a likely outcome. So let's look at some interpretations. Provide one interpretation of the area. Select the correct choice below and fill in the answer boxes to complete your choice. Type integers or decimals, do not round. Again, easy because they gave us the numbers. So here, option A is the proportion of human pregnancies that last less than. We know that we're looking not at less than because we're looking at this area over 300. So that already pretty much knocks out option A. The proportion of human pregnancies that last more than blank number of days is blank. That is definitely our option. Again, we're looking at this area over here that's more than 300. So that's clearly what we're looking at. So we had, 300 days, and that proportion is 0.0168. Check answer. Excellent. All right, provide a second interpretation of the area. Select the correct choice below and fill in the answer box to complete your choice. Again, we really don't need to look at the whole sentence. We can look at this less than and more than. We already know it's not less than. We're looking at the more than. So we have the probability that randomly selected human pregnancy lasts more than 300 days is 0.0168. Now, do some of you want to know why the proportion is the same as the probability? Do you guys remember when we're looking at the lesson, those terms often in statistics are used interchangeably. It's not necessarily the right thing to wrap your brain around, but the idea is that we're looking at a sample proportion from some sample that we already have. So if we're going to use that sample to help predict the potential for another outcome, we would use that as the probability of that outcome happening again. So that's how we can use that word in this case in the same manner. So the proportion is looking at a statistic of a sample that we already pulled. The probability is using that sample to say, well, we know that this just happened. Let's say now that the probability of that happening going forward is this. Check answer. Fantastic. Now, if that's not clear, that distinction or that connection between the probability and the proportion, let me know. We can come up with some more ways to talk about it, but I hope that part's clear. Part B, the figure to the right represents the normal curve. Again, mean 266 days, sigma equal to 16 days. The area between x equals 230 and x equals 250 is 0.1464. Provide two interpretations of this area. Okay, so again, we had our graph up there. Now let's take a little bit bigger look. Again, we have our mean here at 266. Here we have two values, 230 and 250. We're looking at the shaded area in between the two, not less than, not more than, but in between those two values. So here we have provide one interpretation of the area. Select your choice. All right, so let's look. The proportion of human pregnancies that last between, that right there is what we're looking for. Let's just double check. The other one says less than. We know we're not looking at less than. So we know option A is our correct option. And our range we already looked at is between 230 and 250. And that proportion that we were given is 0.1464. Check answer. Well done. All right, provide a second interpretation of the area. Select your, okay, again, this is very similar to part A. So we're going to look at the probability that a randomly selected human pregnancy lasts less than, nope, that's not it. The probability that randomly selected human pregnancy lasts between. So we know that's our option. And then let's look at, so we have 230 and 250 again. And that probability is 0.1464. Now remember, just to kind of reiterate, when we're looking at the standard normal distribution table, and I'm you know what, first I'm gonna check that answer. Excellent. Okay, when we're looking at the standard normal distribution table, that's the one that I attached the PDF to one of my announcements earlier this week, since I can't find it in the new interactive text. We're looking that up. I just wanted to clarify that that is the probability that Z value will be less than, greater than, in between, whatever. But that on the table, it's looking at less than. So that's the probability that a Z value will occur less than some other value. So that's how that's interpreted. That area is the probability or the proportion. So I hope that's clear. If you guys have any questions about that, please let me know.